Hello, this is a very short module. I will just run through it and we're going to be good. So here we're going to be looking at preventive maintenance and troubleshooting. It's a very short chapter. I will just point out most of the important things and I'll be done with this. So what are those things that you need to consider when you want to do preventive maintenance and troubleshooting? So just very basic high points. The module starts here. Yes, preventive maintenance. So your location environment is very critical. If you're in a in a place where you have so much dust, if you're a place where you have a passage, so you have uh, all of those issues that's going to end up they enter into your system and affect system airflow. If you have high traffic, high usage, computer usage, you have flash drives, you have people copying stuff, people uploading stuff, you will need to be very cautious about malicious softwares. You see this dust because of all of these vents, right? So you're going to be having these guys coming in through these vents. So you want to clean up from time to time using a vacuum cleaner or using a blower. That's what's called. Now you want to make sure you open up your system from time to time, 3, 4, 5 months, depending on how the environment is, and you take up all of this stuff, inspect for dust, especially your keyboard, that thing you're typing on, right? Your inside of the system, and you thoroughly blow out. For your PCs, temperature allowed, right? Degrees and in Fahrenheit, then humidity at least 58%. If it's too low, if temperature is too low, place too humid, what happens is that you have potential contaminants. So you start having molds, right? And if it's too hot, PC they don't like high temperatures, so you could have them start malfunction. Then of course you want to make sure that you scan your systems for virus spywares. Make sure you update if you have a paid antivirus and you don't update it. It's as good as you don't have one because your older antivirus software is going to have older definition. So what happens is that when you purchase an antivirus software, for every update you do, you take new patches, new updates, new antis. So if there's a new latest antivirus in town, if your manufacturer have updated their server and you've updated, you're taking that anti and you can hit it up. But if you've not updated, it's going to knock you down, even when you have a paid or an enterprise antivirus software. So make sure that you get a premium antivirus software and you update. If you need licenses in thousands, we are accredited distributors, you could get it. Make sure you also defragment, very important. You're going to put in your hard disk at times, you're going to put in your flash drives at times, you're going to tell you that error check. That is what they call the parity checks. It does that behind the scene so that it could stop errors from accessing files. But the question, what's defragmentation and how can you do that? So defragmentation, what it just does that is that it tends to arrange your files. I'll use this scenario. If you have a room, you have 200 shirts, and anytime you have wear your shirt or your blouse as a lady, you come back from the office, you throw it into the room. You come back the next day, you throw it in the room. What happens is that after some time, you will not be able to go pick up a file. Same thing for your hard disk. You just dumping files, dumping files, dumping files, dumping files. You can also use some cleaning software. I use C Cleaner. It's a very nice one. It could do defragmentation, cleaning, PC optimization, and it has a free version, it has a paid version. So what the defragmentation does for you is that it cleans up the area, sort and arrange according to type, according to location, according to the file type and the rest. So in that your room where you dump those clothes up to 200, if you are asked, go get that yellow shirt, that nice yellow shirt, or that nice yellow blouse, you will not be able to do that because the information you have there is so scattered and not organized. That's what happens when you just, okay, let me type here cleaning software for PC. I think they have for Mac and mobile. Sure. You could confirm, please. So So for you to be able to get items from that your room, you need to take some time, sort out, arrange all of those items and whatever. And when you're told, please go get that yellow shirt, you just dive in, go to where you might have shirts, trousers, perfume, wristwatches, jewelry, wherever. So if you're asked, go get a shirt, you go to where you have the shirts, then you go to where you have maybe designers, vintage, packet shirts, polos. That's what defragmentation does. It declutters everything, arranges everything, and makes it very easy for you to access. So if your hard disks have not been defragmented for a very long time, install the software, clean it up, and you should save more files, you should save more space, you should have a faster system. What's the process? See this guy here. He's getting too angry. So, but you need to be organized. It's a logical process, right? So first you need to identify your issue, establish what might be the cause. So when you are having an issue, all that you should be thinking about is what might be the problem, what might be the cause, what might be the issue, right? Then test out any of those theories that you think might be the cause, then establish a plan of action, then verify, then of course document. Of course you have some learning. So I normally have what looks like a repair sheet. I will drop one if I can identify it for each of your PC repair tasks. Because if you have 10 systems, it's difficult for you to be able to identify each systems with their issues and whatever. So you need some kind of documentation, which is very important. Then of course, the second one, like we explained earlier on, the third, the fourth, then fifth, verify, then lastly, you document your findings. So there are so many problems and there are probable solutions. So if you have storage device, they can have these issues. Later on, we're going to see what their solutions might be. If you have motherboard and internet components, you can have this kind of issues. If you have power supplies, so you need to be able to isolate each issue that you have with respect to which component, which part of your PC. You don't have a power supply issue and you say, oh, it's my display. No. So you're going to have, just like the human body, you can have a problem with your eye. You shouldn't be saying it's your leg. You can have a problem with your stomach. You shouldn't be saying it's your heart. All right? It's kind of funny, yes. So you should be able to segment. So what a doctor does is that he tries to do diagnosis. So that's the same kind of thing you're doing. So you ask questions so that you can isolate. You can try to know where was the probable cause of each of the issues. So you have some issues here, you have some possible solutions. You read it up, some issues, possible solutions. Probable cause, possible solutions. Probable cause, possible solutions. For instance, CPU has overheated. Some systems, they will tell you CPU temperature high, blah blah blah. They will not want to continue again so that they can protect the components. What do? Replace your fan if it's not rolling. Observe and see if it's not rolling. If it's failing, you could change the fan, right? So that is like a guide for you. You have many scenarios that can play out. Okay, don't forget that most of the times you might need to search out on the internet because there is no new problem. 70-80% of all the problems that you have, somebody have passed through that. Your PC you are using, thousands and millions of people have used that PC and they've had those issues and those problems have been solved by somebody else, and most of the times they're going to have posted these things on the internet and you could learn from those. You should take notes, have a journal, have a history of repairs, especially if you are dealing with clients or a company that brings you PCs for fix and you want to have a history. It's very good. Of course, like I said earlier on, internet search, online forums, technical. Uh, Unlike 10, 15, 20 years ago, where most of these things are not readily available on the internet, you have to be a very good internet researcher to be able to get all this information. But these days, it's readily available on the manufacturer side. If you go to HP, if you go to Dell, if you go to Toshiba, if you go to Samsung, all of their sites, you have tons and tons of support information. You could even chat up with somebody. You could check out the technical manual and the user manual. For the drivers, you can easily download them. Back in the days, normally these things come shipped with a PC. But because of piracy, they don't send out CDs again. They just put everything on their website. So you enter your email, you should be able to download so much that is going to help your job. Okay, this is a continuation for hardware. A multimeter helps you to test voltage, resistance, amperage. That's current. So just I have one in the office, just a very, I'm sure you're going to see this in your LMS or later on in the course of this course. I can get one, you could remind me. It's just a small device. It has positive, negative, red and black. You put it in according to your terminal. It's going to read depending on what setting you have. It's going to read, tell you how much amperage or how much voltage or how much resistance. Okay, that's all for the module 4. Very short, very straightforward chapter. That's to do with troubleshooting. So how do you troubleshoot? Learn how to segment. Learn how to ask questions. Learn how to think about the probable cause. Learn how to research. There is no new problem you have. Most things are very repetitive. And of course, document. Thank you very much. I'm going to see you in module